everybody, this is Perch, and I've done some videos, and you all know my fondness for Superman as a character, and I'm fond of Superman on a couple different levels. There's, the Dick Superman from the '70s, where he was screwing with Jimmy and Lois and everything else, and those Superman stories are just charming and wonderful, and I love those completely. And then I think there's, and kind of along with that, the Superman 3 Dick Superman, also love that. But also think just as a great kind of classic character, you have these big grand adventures of Superman. I did an interview with Philip Kennedy Johnson a while back, and you go to it on my channel, and it's good stuff because I asked him the question I ask, I hear a lot, which is it hard to write Superman? And Johnson was like, no, it's not hard at all. And by the way, that's exactly the person you want writing Superman. That guy. People who do not believe it's hard, because I don't believe writing Superman is hard either. I think that there's a lot you can do with Superman. I do not think he's limited. I think anyone who says that is somebody to, don't get them anywhere near the title. That'd be a terrible idea. But there is a negative perception around Superman within DC itself. I was talking to an editor about a week ago at DC, who kind of going back and forth in email. And I said, why not? They're kind of in response. This is where I'd love somebody to actually go on the record, but I understand completely why they can't, especially on this topic. It was in response to the numbers at DC are terrifying, because of, so much reliance on Batman. And the editor I was talking to is like, well, the problem is nobody wants, non-Batman. It is, you have a ceiling. Basically, Superman can sell 30,000 copies, and that's about it. It is selling higher than that for what it's worth. But, that's just, it's not what people are interested in. Too old-fashioned, too Boy Scout, on and on the list goes. So it fits this question real quick. So let me read this question to you from a viewer, and then we'll talk about it. So the question says, hey, Perch, after some short looks on IMDb, I'm pretty sure I can confidently say no superhero has as much screen time as Clark Kent's Superman, through animation, television, movies, and so on. Spider-Man might have a run for its money with the Spider-Man, the Amazing Friends, and others, but it's probably one of those two. Superman does have more overall screen time than Batman. If you start really counting everything that's done, that's true. Although there is a lot of Batman too. I don't know. There's a lot. Put it that way. There's just a lot. Yet, the mail goes on. Superman comics don't perform anywhere close to what his brand recognition would suggest. I've heard people say he's just too much of a Boy Scout. Yeah, I heard that directly from a DC editor, a week ago. But Philip Kennedy Johnson's run on action certainly isn't that. Yeah, it's not at all. And nor do I think, by the way, that Philip Kennedy Jackson is Johnson. Philip Kennedy Johnson, not Jackson. Philip Kennedy Johnson. I don't think he's subverting expectations. I also don't think he's in there trying to, make a Superman like I'll teach the fans some new hidden dark secret of Superman. He's writing very much a classic Superman doing something new. It's amazing. It's possible. Anyway, sorry, continuing. And hey, Super Spider-Man often outsells Supes, and Spidey isn't exactly an edgelord. Yeah, that's true. I do wonder if his power level has something to do with it. It does. I think it befuddles a lot of writers. They're like, well, he can do anything, so I have no idea what to do with the guy. It's like, well, you can make really big threats. You can have Superman. I mean, there's a million things you can do, as lots of writers have shown us. Certainly Philip Kennedy Johnson now, but there's been good writers who have done good stuff. Grant Morrison figured out a way to make it work with All-Star Superman. Lots and lots of writers have. Anyway, let me finish this mail rather than interrupting myself. Funny, his Boy Scout stuff is typically what people remember and love, and is the unending respect for Christopher Reeves that is a testament to that. People don't actually like Superman being evil or dark nearly as much as they say or they think they do. Well, I do, but most do not. You're right. It just seems crazy to me that one of the three most instantly recognizable heroes in the world has to struggle to make it in the top 20 comics, usually not top 50. And that's speaking generally. I think in the last few years, it's been even lower, much lower. Yes. Side note, what a missed opportunity in not turning Superman 78 by Venditti into an ongoing by DC. Yeah, big missed opportunity for sure. By the way, on that one, you could tell it was not going to go anywhere or work when they put the number 78 on it. That was a big mistake. They should have called it Superman Classic or Superman Adventures, and they had it all set up that they've got this multiverse. They could tell stories from wherever. They could have slapped them on Earth 3 and told stories. I mean, there's a million ways you could have done it, but by slapping a year on it, you're tying it to a movie, and it just I think that was a big mistake, and absolutely they should have had that as an ongoing. And I think they should have marketed, they should have put that one in digest cheap trades and gotten that on the supermarket shelves as quickly as possible. Told parents, hey, here's what you do, strike a deal with Scholastic. So those comics are going to the kids, they're family friendly. You get some nostalgia factor from parents who remember growing up with Christopher Reeves. That's what you should have done. Anyway, yes, that was absolutely a wasted opportunity. Well, so what to make of all this? I mean, look, in the end, and this will delight a lot of the people who show up in the comments of my videos. There is a attitude and a perception by a number of writers and editors who say that Superman represents white male patriarchy, old fashioned borderline kind of slavery level of thinking. And if you think I'm just making that up, this is something I have heard from writers before, is that there's some good tweets from comic creators, current ones, that have said, that the big fans of Superman are the fans who would like to bring back segregation and slavery. Does that make any sense? No, not even a tiny amount of sense. But look at some of the dialogue that went on around the Superman smashes the Klan, a story that was, I believe, adapted from the radio serial, I think, or at least loosely based on it, where Superman shows up and he fights the Ku Klux Klan, which Superman would do because the KKK are evil and awful people who terrorize people, and that's exactly the kind of thing that Superman would show up and figure out. It creates a good dynamic because Superman, with his power set, can basically fly in and just instantly murder the Klan, but they don't have powers. So it creates an interesting dynamic. How does Superman inspire and kind of stop out this evil? You could do a good story with that. But the dialogue around that story revealed a lot about the character, about how people think about it, etc. Not the story itself. I thought the story itself was fine. I read it. I enjoyed it. I thought it did remind me a lot of an old radio serial. That's, I know mumbles. I was not alive back when radio programs were going on like that, but I've listened to some of them in archives. They're cool to listen to, some of them. And but the dialogue immediately turned into kind of a couple people, but in fairness, not that many. I think most people are not going to just look at Superman fights a Klan and go, oh, what's this? Superman fighting Republicans next? I mean, the KKK is an evil organization. Only truly, black-pilled lunatics are going to come in and want to defend that. But whatever. But a handful of people came in and did exactly that, kind of like, oh, this is SJW stuff. This is woke. Superman has turned woke because he's attacking the Klan. Again, it was anyone who went really aggressively into that argument revealed themselves to look like crazy people because nobody in their right mind who understands that Superman has been around for almost 100 years now would say, "Yeah, Superman wouldn't get involved with fighting the Klan. That's not really what Superman would do. Of course, Superman would get involved in that. Growing up in Kansas, having those kind of values and wanting to protect and inspire fellow man, it's exactly the kind of thing Superman would get involved in. He would also go fight Brainiac and Lex Luthor and Mongol and all these other things, but of course he would do that. But it was that reaction, unfortunately, is somewhat predictable. If you have anything remotely feeling political in any way, shape, or form, people are going to want to pounce on it and say, it's woke. But the response to that group was the shocking part. And that was where I got the comment I said earlier, which is, well, that Superman's main fan base are racist. Okay, I don't think so. Sorry. Hard disagree. If you are truly a fan of Superman, and I think people who are this is the lunatic aspect of all this. If you're going to spend all the money on Superman over the years, what amounts to thousands of dollars. A character is recognizable around the world. If you're going to do that, then you're not going to read all those comics, buy all those comics, and walk away with the conclusion that white people are superior somehow. That literally goes against everything that Superman has been about for 80 years. Like, no, I disagree. I completely disagree. So when I see that kind of response from people who are writers of comics or people who are selling those comics, it tells me everything I need to know about why the comic isn't selling more. It's because there is a belief that is old fashioned, that it is not contemporary, not relevant. And because it's old fashioned, that also must mean it's somehow evil, because that's how this thinking goes. If you're talking about something, classic, historical, old fashioned, in some people's heads, that is code for racist, bigoted, sexist, all those things. If it existed in the past, it must be evil. If it happened before, then those characters must have been supporting all of the evil things that happened before. And this is a crazy way of thinking that I see show up a lot, which is based on time. It's a group of people will look at things and say, bad things happened in the past. Absolutely, they did. There have been horrors and atrocities and many horrible things that have happened in our past. There's also been a lot of good things that have happened in our past. The survival of our species being, one of them. Like as much as there's been evil, there's been a lot of good too. We wouldn't be around. We wouldn't be, living the lives we have. We wouldn't, a lot of our ancestors fought wars to break away from slavery, to encourage freedom, to generate democracy. This also happened in the past. Yet, within the minds of certainly a lot of people, and unfortunately some of the people who are decision makers at DC and Marvel and everywhere else, if it's old, if it's classic, if it happened in the past, then it must be tethered not to the good things, but to the bad things that happened in the past. Did this comic come out in the 40s? It must have supported racism somehow. Why? Because there was racism in the 40s. Oh, there was segregation in the 40s and 50s. So therefore, if a comic came out during that time period, it must inherently be evil because it happened to be published around that same time period. If this is making your head hurt, it makes my head hurt too. But again, these are conversations I've had with people where they have said directly, with no hint of irony or sarcasm, it happened in the past. If this awful segregation, why weren't the comic creators? Why wasn't Stan Lee? I listened to somebody do a rant, and I understand Stan Lee was with Marvel, but a rant on Stan Lee. Now, why was Stan Lee evil and bad in this person's mind? Because when Stan Lee was younger, when he was working at Marvel in the 60s, Stan Lee did not do enough. He did not go out and protest. He did not do enough to basically show everyone that he was against racism. That was the argument. Not that he may have screwed over Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko. Not that he may have stolen ideas or gotten himself too much credit. No, those are old. That's in the past. The reason why people were pissed, the reason why this person was pissed at Stan Lee, is that he had an opportunity to speak out against slavery or at least racism and sexism and other things, and he didn't do it. Now, you may go, hey, wait a minute, Perch. Didn't Stan Lee do a bunch of soapbox articles where he exactly spoke out against these things, talked about, racism's bad and tolerance is good? Didn't he do this? In fact, didn't Marvel reprint some of these things in the last couple of years? As kind of a tribute to him, which, by the way, I always felt was a little bit disingenuous because they very much cherry picked everything he wrote. But true, Stan Lee wrote these things. Didn't that happen? The answer is yes. Yes, that absolutely happened. These people are morons. The fact that Superman isn't selling more is ridiculous. It's a character that is known the world over. He's got a lot of things to do. Philip Kennedy Johnson is doing a hero's job, an incredible job of telling an awesome story. If you are not reading it, you're making a mistake. It's a great story. You should go check it out. It's wonderful. I can't recommend it enough. But these people are morons. And anyone who thinks this should be as far away from writing or working on Superman as is humanly possible. But such is life. Anyway, good question. Thanks for got some of that off my chest. Anyway, go read Action Comics. It's a damn good comic. Thanks for listening.